Welcome back to our one-on-one chats with our local candidates for the forthcoming September 14 election. Pleased to say that Andrew Baker is putting his hat in the ring once again to run for council on September 14. Andrew, good morning and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Damien.
Andrew, you spent 2 terms as a Clarence Valley councillor. You had just the last 2 years, 2 and a bit years off.
Yep.
But you decided this time round to put your hat back in the ring. Why have you decided that this time?
Okay, I really enjoyed 2 terms on council. I was involved in a lot of achievements that probably weren't great highlights for most people, but for the functioning of the council and the financial reconstruction of the council, they were critical, and we were told they were critical by the state government, among others, when they said we weren't fit for the future. The previous terms had been living beyond the means of the income. We had some serious work to do, and I enjoyed that. A lot of my background went into helping me enjoy it.
And I guess, would you say that your council that you were serving on pretty much set up the current council for the successes that they've been able to achieve, like the Aquatic Centre?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to judge successes or otherwise. That was the decisions of the current term of council, and I would respect those regardless. It was set up to be far better. It went from about $130 million in debt down to about 90, I think. But more importantly, before the end of my last term, we asked the general manager to engage a consultancy firm, I think it was Ernst & Young or someone, to say whether council had any borrowing capacity if it was needed. And that was done not with any particular project in mind, but simply to say, has the council been able to get its act together financially, and can we get on now with the things council should do?
So Andrew Baker, you've been part of the Clarence Valley all your life, have you?
I have indeed. I was born in Maclean. I was raised in Maclean until school left me at 15. I then was lucky that my father negotiated for me to go back and do this school certificate, so I was then able to get an apprenticeship here in Grafton at the NRCC at Queen Street as a motor mechanic. After that, pretty well went off to the Pilbara in iron ore mining as a very naive 21-year-old. Got into public interest advocacy in the Pilbara when I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was elected as the convener of the Metalworkers Union. That quickly led to president of the Combined Union Council, and then the union thought they could see something in me and got me off to a number of summer school type things at the West Australian Institute of Technology, which is now Curtin University. So I thought that would be it. I thought there'd be a career in either iron ore mining or union activism or both, but my father died in 1976. My mother was here on her own. I needed to come back here, and I've been here ever since. Never found anywhere else I'd like to go to.
It's God's country up here, isn't it?
It is indeed. So, look, I can find so many good things about this place. And sure, I hear people would like to make some changes. I wouldn't. I've said, I'm on record as saying I'd put a wall around the place and stop any more tourists coming in. I just don't want any more tourists. Now, that's okay. As it turns out, though, without joking about it, as a councillor, we would hear from time to time people just repeat the mantra, we need more tourists. So council had got out of the tourism promotion business pretty well. I put up to council, and it was adopted unanimously, that we would, to find out where we really stood about tourism and tourism promotion and spending ratepayers' money on tourism, that we would invite a tourism committee to be formed that would have tourist businesses, that would have members of the public, it'd have businesses generally, it'd have councillors. So the council staff, to their credit, went out, advertised widely and loudly for nominations for this tourist committee. There were none, nil. That's on the public record. More importantly, for me at least, I wanted to know why that would be. So I went to some of the, not a lot, some of the tourist operators that I knew, and they said, we do our own targeted promotion. We don't want council spending money on that. Why don't they mow the verges, clean the place up a bit? And I thought, okay, that's given me a great insight into why we shouldn't use ratepayers' money just to benefit the tourist businesses when we could do it, we'd use that same money to benefit everyone. Yeah.
A very contentious issue, the tourism part of council, isn't it? Well, from some people's point of view.
Well, it shouldn't be, because that, to me, unless there's been some dramatic change in the world, the tourist businesses don't want to contribute to council's involvement. I mean, they don't want to be involved, and the ones I know don't want council to do it. So why would council be doing it when everybody can get on their iPad and find out what to do? Underlying all that, of course, is I would still prefer a wall around the place to stop the tourists coming in.
You've spent 2 years off council.
Yep.
Have you been a frustrated ex-councillor looking in, and that's one of the reasons why you want to sort of put your hand up again to try and help move the council along and get on with the job?
I've been a really interested observer. I haven't written any angry letters. I haven't contacted any councillors at all to say, you know, here's somebody that knows what they're doing, you should listen to me. That's not my thing. I have been disappointed in some of the governance side of things, in some of the way that councillors don't get on and carry that outside to sook about it or whinge about it. You know, we're all supposed to be grown-ups. We're given a platform on the floor of council to prosecute our position. It's inevitable that we're going to be in the minority sometimes. Does that mean we haven't prosecuted our position well enough? Perhaps. Does it mean really the other decision was much better? And I've got a history there. I fought bitterly against and long and loudly against the construction of the new council depot on the site it's on. I was rolled every time. That though didn't entitle me to go outside and sook about it. When it was a majority decision, I then had to, if you like, turn over and say, okay, that's the majority decision. The way that this democracy works is I now need to find a way to make the best of that particular decision. And that carried me all the way through. I got more hidings than I had wins, but once I'd taken my medicine, I had to find a way to make the best of it and prosecute my position better at some time in the future.
What do you hope to achieve if you're elected on September 14 in the new council?
Same as before, good governance, financial responsibility, and that's, look, for me the fundamental is good governance, but if that's in place, then I'm only interested in the fundamentals of council. I don't have a social agenda, if you like, but I have an agenda, if it could be called that we need to always get the basics right, the fundamentals right, and then if there's anything left over, and there never will be, you might go out and venture outside. But if we just stick to what councils really should be doing, it'll be a great council.
Is there anything that council could be doing better in the new term? Like, people have mentioned about town hall meetings, for example, a bit more communication with the community, more consultation. Is that something?
With what?
Just in general terms.
Going out to the community.
Yeah, actually having a conversation, a better conversation with the community.
I'm dead set against that, only because I've been involved in those. I set Richie Williamson up once in the Ashby Hall before I was a councillor, and I think that day he may have regretted that he was a councillor. But the thing is, and I found this when we did go out to Halfway Creek and Wooleye and so on, people would come to the meetings, but not many, and they'd raise issues. Now, one particular one I remember was the issue of the bus can't get down this particular road because the trees are overhanging. And naively I said, well, how long's that been? And they said, oh, about 3 months. And I said, well, have you ever contacted council's customer service? And I wrote it up on the board for them, the number that they should ring. And they were honest enough and said no, they hadn't. Now, if issues are important to people, they will find me, or they'll find the other councillors. Everybody now's got an email that they can write an angry email or simply ask what I think about things. So no, going out and meeting 10 or 15 people in the community and somehow thinking that they represent the community, to me is false, but it's also showboating from the people that go out there to mostly to gain some popularity. Well, I don't need that. I'm already popular in my own mirror.
There's 17 candidates that are running for council on the 14th of September. Looking at some of the names, some of them you've worked with, some of them you maybe, obviously they may have been sort of working for council.
Yeah.
How do you think you get along with some of those names? Are they all friends of yours?
Oh, famously, no, they're not. I've got to say, I have no allegiances. I'm not part of any groups. I don't join in either in council or outside council because I like to be completely independent, mostly for the other people who'd only get a bad name if they got involved with me. So I get on famously with anyone whose heart's in the right place and who is trying to do the right thing for the general community, not for themselves.
Just finally, September 14th, just around the corner. Why should the people of Clarence Valley give Andrew Baker a tick of approval to run for council for another 4 years?
That's the hardest question you could ask me. Why should they give me another go? Perhaps because I've done it all before. I'm on record. I've demonstrated time and time again that we need restraint, if you like. We need to pull apart every, particularly financial decision, but every decision. And we need to match it up with all of the things that control us, the acts, the regulations, the codes, the planning instruments, whatever. I enjoy doing that, the research, and I enjoy getting out then within a council meeting to take it on.
And should you be elected on September 14, are you interested in putting your hand up for mayor?
I would if I thought that I had a bit of support for that. I'd have no problem doing taking on the mayoral role. I've been in leadership roles, I've been in governance roles before. It's not, once again, it's not a difficult job because the rules are all written for us already. It's really a matter of respecting both the rules and the people that you've got to work with. I will say it would be more restrictive on me if I was to be elected mayor than sitting on the floor of council where I can try and give more than I take.
Andrew Baker, appreciate your time. Good luck on September 14.
Thanks, Damien. Good on you.